How you doing, Buckaroos? And it says we're live. How the heck are you? We are at the pub with the Beer Whisperer, but today joining me at the pub is the one and only Jersey Johnny from the Lager Room, guys. So, Jersey, man, what is the bartender pouring for you today?
Today, well, for my first libation this evening is called "Warm Your Bones,"
Warm
and
your bones.
it's a winter warmer from Treehouse Brewing up in Charlton, Massachusetts. So the infamous Treehouse that everybody swears by their IPAs.
Uh-huh.
I choose to drink a winter warmer from them.
There you
So
go. So what's the ABV on that monster?
the ABV on this is 5.6%.
Oh, so that's kind of low for a winter warmer, right? You expect.
Yeah.
So okay, so it's not a big beer.
No, I expect a little beef to it, but hey, you know what? I mean, they've been making some decent lagers. They've been really stepping up their lager game.
Really, yeah.
As much as they're known for their IPAs and their barrel aged beers, all their stouts, barley wines, and all their lagers and lower ABV ales they've been really doing well with them.
Oh, very nice.
They got a few Luker taps, slow pour taps up at the brewery too. So they're not too shabby up there at Treehouse. So
Very nice. Yeah, I've heard good things, and I've had some stuff by them that has been sent to me from friends, but I haven't had a chance to get out there yet.
yeah, it's anytime we take a ride up to, whether it be Boston or Rhode Island or Maine or New Hampshire, we always got to go either on the way up or the way back. We always got to go by Treehouse. Just gonna take my obligatory picture here for
There you go.
Untapped.
Well, when you're doing that, I'm going to say, we kind of do our thing here at the pub, and it's an open conversation. Nothing is rehearsed. But I do welcome comments. If you folks want to join us at the pub, you put your comments in there, and we'll talk about that as well. I just popped the Mug Club. This is a special Mug Club release from Springfield Brewing Company. Their Scotch Ale. That's what I'm drinking. It's
Very
7%
nice.
even.
Very nice. Very nice. I almost went with a Scotch ale, oddly enough, from Treehouse tonight. But
Really? Okay.
that was I had a couple of cans of that. I had one on the show not too long ago on the Lager Room, guys, and it's 8%. Packs a little bit of a punch, this beer, but it's really good. So I'm like, you know what? If we're gonna have a couple of beers and then maybe move on to some other stuff tonight, I'm gonna stay away from that one. Go with some lower ABV stuff to start.
So last night I actually had a conversation with your cohort, your partner in
I
crime,
saw
the
that. I saw
Samurai.
that an impromptu show, if you will.
It
That
did.
was
It just kind of happened. I just said, well, so I was going to talk with the Brew Guru, but he had some things come up and he couldn't do the show. And I could have not done a Thursday because I knew we were doing this Friday. But I figured, well, if Samurai wants to come on, because that's kind of how the pub works, isn't it? It's erratic. Things can happen. So that's kind of what I'm doing. It's equal to my personality, a little erratic, a little spontaneous.
exactly.
So tell us about that beer you got there. What aromas, what flavors you picking
Oh,
up?
I mean, total toffee in the nose. It's really nice. It's nothing jumping out at you. It's nice, solid malt backbone. It's got all the feels. It's got the caramel, nice toffee, but not too sweet. A little bit of bitterness, a little bit of residual bitterness, so it dries out a little bit, so it's not cloying, it doesn't linger. It's really nice. It's really
So as
tasty.
a winter warmer, is it spice or is it just a big malty beer?
You know what? I'm detecting a little bit, like, really slight hints of spice. I mean, there's um on the can it says "Warm Your Bones" features notes of mixed holiday spices, but it doesn't say what it is, right?
Gotcha,
Doesn't
gotcha.
so yeah. I mean, I could be getting. I mean, there might be a little coriander in there. There might be a little
Nutmeg,
might be a
maybe?
little nutmeg, little cinnamon, more nutmeg than cinnamon, if anything. But it's nothing overpowering. It's just very, 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 very
Very
subtle,
subtle?
but
Yeah,
in
there you
in
go.
in a good way. In a good way.
In a good way, yeah. I think that's where some of those beers go wrong when the spice overpowers the beer, when all you can taste is a spice, right?
Exactly.
You want
Exactly.
those spice notes there, especially in a winter warmer, but
Right.
you want them kind of as a supporting character,
Right.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind really big spice notes in a winter warmer, but a winter warmer that's doubling is like a Christmas ale, right? A holiday ale.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something that's going to have a little, beef to it in the spice department, so to speak. to right around the holidays, for all of that stuff. But something that I'm going to drink as just an actual winter warmer throughout the winter. I want that spice a little more subdued, a little backed up.
There you go. You want to know they're there, but you don't want it to overpower the beer.
Exactly. Have it just have it be. I want to be drinking the beer, enjoying it, and then before I know it, it's gone, and not even realize that it is. How's your Scotch ale?
It is a beautiful representation of the style, right? Big and malty as you would expect, slightly sweet up front, beautiful herbal finish to clean it all up. It is just absolutely gorgeous.
Nice.
Using my Springfield Brewing Company glass.
Very nice.
So I usually make a special point. I've had people come at me saying, "Are you getting a kickback from that company?" Or I do not. And typically I would where I would say I buy all the beer. However, I didn't buy this one, and the reason for that is I'm a Mug Club member. They gave each Mug Club member a 6-pack, so I did not pay for this particular beer, but I do pay for all of the others, and I didn't pay for this one because I am a Mug Club member.
Mug Club member, yeah, exactly. Well, technically, you did pay.
For it, yeah, with the Mug Club membership,
right?
Yeah. But you know how some folks are, right?
Right, of course. Oh, that's really.
So I don't want to beat folks over the head with it, and I don't want to, I don't want to impose on you, but I do know that you are co-owner of Coastal Beer Works.
Coastal Brew Works, yes.
Brew Works. I keep wanting to say beer, but it's Coastal Brew Works. I keep getting that messed up. Coastal Brew Works. So, do you feel like talking about that a little bit?
Sure, if you want, ask away. What do you want to know? We'll talk about that on your show a little bit. We've
so the inception. What brought it together?
Well, it's a long time coming. You can say I have two partners, Matt and Jim. Matt's the brewmaster. He's been brewing for 12, 13, 14 years, somewhere in there. And he brewed home brewed to the point where he was president of his homebrew association. And he worked at a bunch of breweries as well. And it was he was overdue to be getting involved in a brewery, so to speak. And Matt and I've been friends for years. And Jim, whatchamacallit, has never. Well, I'll come back to Jim in a minute. Myself, I've been in the business for pushing 20 years, and working at many other breweries, sales, marketing.
I was going to say, so you're on the sales side, right?
I'm in the sales, marketing, development, that kind of side.
Which makes sense with your personality. You're the.
Thanks, appreciate it. But I've been doing that. I've been general sales managers for breweries in New Jersey, New York City, sales managers for a few breweries. I have my own little sales and marketing company with another partner for a while there, for a couple of years. Kind of ahead of its time, but in any event, that led us to this. And Jim is very knowledgeable as far as office stuff and financials and so forth and so on. And he came to me a while ago and asked, that we open a brewery because he really wanted to get involved. And I said, sure, let's. And it went through a couple incarnations. We looked in other states, because as we've talked about it on the Lager Room Guys show. New Jersey's very odd when it comes to brewery laws, right?
Yeah, so being in Missouri, we've got some bizarre liquor laws. But when I was reading up on your stuff, man, that was really odd.
Our most, not all, most New Jersey liquor laws still date back to the repeal prohibition in 1933.
That's fine.
They haven't changed since. Yeah. But
they don't want to change either, right?
Right. You know what? It's getting worked on, though. I mean, we could talk about that afterwards. What the state's going through right now, but in any event, In any event, so we were talking about maybe something in New York because you can have a restaurant, and we had another gentleman involved with us that was going to, do the back of house restaurant type stuff and get involved, but none of them panned out. One thing led to another. The last one before this we were working on was right before the pandemic, and then then the pandemic happened, so that push on that one, right? So I guess probably February, March of 2021, somewhere in there. Matt had been over. Matt was over. We're sitting on my deck, and we're having a beer and a cigar. First, I guess it was March. It was kind of a nice day. It was one of the first nice weekend days, right? And we were BSing about the fact that he was ready to, he wanted to make a jump. He had been approached by a couple people to open up a brewery, but it was a small percentage of ownership, and he really wanted to be involved more so in the development of the brewery. So, and of course, the whole thing that Jim and I have been trying to do for a while now. We kind of, one thing led to another. Long story short, brought Jim in, and we said, "Hey, let's do it." So we've been a business since July of 2021, so over a year and a half now. And we're still not, the brewery itself is still not open. So, I mean, that's, it's a typical tale. I mean, it doesn't, very, very, very rarely do you hear of a brewery saying, okay, we're going to open a brewery, and then 6 months later they're open. That never happens.
It doesn't happen. Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. So, but, since May of last year, we decided, as we're opening up, as we're building out the brewery, our space and so forth and so on, we said, okay, you know what, let, people in the industry know who Matt and I are, but and there's plenty of drinkers out there that know, at least local New Jersey ones, right? But the bigger segment of the craft beer purchasing community, if you will,
gotcha.
You need to know who Coastal Brew Works is. So let's contract brew. Let's get our flagships out there in front of people, and let's let them speak for themselves, and get our marketing and branding going, so that when we do open the doors to our tasting room, we don't have to start from scratch. People are ready. They're coming from day one. So that's the deal.
So as we speak today, do you have a building, or are you?
We are, let's put it this way. Barring anything unforeseen, we will be open this calendar year.
Really?
Fingers crossed it can be a little sooner than later in the year. I'd love to be open in the summer, because we are in Monmouth County in New Jersey, and Monmouth County in New Jersey, is like the top end of the Jersey Shore. And as many people that live in Monmouth County are, and I'll talk about Monmouth County in a minute when it comes to breweries, but there's an influx of huge amounts of people coming to the Jersey Shore in the summer. So I'd love to be open in the summer, right? But if it's in the fall, it's in the fall. If it's a little later in the fall, it's a little later. I just want to be open. When we can open, we'll open. But barring anything unforeseen, this calendar year 2023, we'll have the doors open. So.
Well, good. So let's talk about the beer. What beers have you released so far?
We have released 5 so far. Our flagships. We'll have 6 flagships. I'll talk about the 6th one in a minute. But the 5 flagships we released so far are our single IPA, if you will, single New England, if you will, if you want to call it that.
There you go. Okay.
Regular New England IPA, 5% New England. It's called Building Sandcastles. It's a 5% New England IPA. We brew it with Sabro hops and Motueka hops. Sabro hops throw the flavors of coconut, and Motueka hops throw the flavors of lime. So we put the lime in the coconut.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant, man. Yeah. I wish I had that Harry Nilsson song queued up.
Right, playing it right there. That would have been perfect.
That would have been brilliant. So. I could sing it, though, but we might lose some viewership. But anyway, go ahead.
And you can call me in the morning when we're done.
Call me in the morning. Right. Anyway, Harry Nilsson, man. Harry Nilsson. He was a genius.
He was. That was a great song. But and you hear that, you hear that song, you're singing it for a week. It's just over and over and over again.
If you know that song, you people know you're of a certain age, right?
Right. Now I've said that. Now that's obviously not the first time I've said that, right? I've said that to people, out. I got to tell you, a large, some people a little younger than I thought actually got it.
Really?
Right? Okay. Yeah. But there were some that were even younger than that, and they're like, okay,
what? What does that mean?
Lime coconut sounds good. That's it, right? But yeah, so it's a nice, soft, easy drinking New England IPA. Nice coconut, great coconut in the nose. Nice coconut and lime. Lime hits you first, coconut rounds it out in the flavor. Nice soft mouthfeel. It's a really, really easy drinking New England IPA. Really easy to drink that beer. It goes down so soft. I mean, we joke about it all the time on the Lager Room guys. Dave drinks faster than I do. He definitely consumes his beer a little bit quicker than I do. But Building Sandcastles, anytime I pour a pint of it, I'm through it faster than I'm like, I finished that already? Wow. It's just so easy to drink. It's really good.
So that is your, quintessential summer beer, right?
It's a flagship. It's year round, but obviously sales of that are higher in the summer, right? It's definitely a quintessential summer beer, definitely. We have a double IPA, 8.5% a double dry hop, double New England.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's called Trojan Seahorse, and that one is brewed with. We brew it with Citra and Mosaic hops, and then we double dry hop it with Citra and Galaxy hops.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're
And
getting a lot of citrus, a lot of tropical fruit notes, I'm gathering.
huge citrus and tropical fruit notes. A lot of passion fruit, a lot of papaya, a little bit of mango. In fact, when
There you go. Yeah.
when we keg and can the beer at the brewery, anytime we do, the entire brewery smells like peach rings. It's crazy. It really is. And no fruit in the beer. This is all from hops.
Yeah,
All these
from the
flavors are
hops,
just
yeah.
from the hops. It's a, and again, that's nice soft mouthfeel, but it's a beefier body, and obviously with that higher ABV, and it sneaks up on you. You don't realize you're drinking an 8.5%. You know, you thinking this is 5-6%, 5.5% somewhere in there. Hence Trojan Seahorse, right? Sneaks up on you. So that's where we went with that one. We also have our 5.3%. I can show you the cans actually. Let me do that. I'll bring these over here. I'll stick them off camera, and then I will show you the cans as I speak about them. This is Building Sandcastles. That's the can for Building Sandcastles.
Oh, nice. That's a beautiful can.
There you go. Right there. And to catch up, here is the can for Trojan Seahorse. There we go.
Oh, wow. Oh, I like that too. Yeah. So you do have an in-house artist?
Yes, we do.
You? Are
be
you the artist?
That would be me. That would be me.
All right. Well, damn, you got some skills, man.
Thanks. Whatchamacallit, we have, this is our third one. I was saying our 5.3%. Thank you very much, by the way. I appreciate it. Our 5.3%.
I can't draw stick figures, so I mean that's brilliant to me. Yeah.
Gotcha, thanks. I appreciate it. I got a marketing background, so that helps. And then
I'm great with sales and marketing, but it's all about the voice. I can't draw shit.
I gotcha. Well, you work on it after a while, you know, and the computer helps.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So this is our, again, 5.3% Vienna lager. Vienna style lager. Okay. Remember that, because you can't put Vienna lager on a can label in the United States, because the department of the government that approves the labels will not allow it, because if you put Vienna lager, they won't allow it because it's not brewed in Vienna.
Oh, okay.
What they don't realize is that
used to be true with Kolsch as well. Is it still?
Kolsch style ale, yes.
Yeah, it has to be Kolsch style, yeah.
And it's not a New England IPA; it's a New England style IPA, because it's not. You can, if you're a brewery in Massachusetts, you can put New England IPA, because you are indeed brewing it in New England.
Gotcha.
But in New Jersey, we have to put New England style, right? So, but now I understand that. Whatever the reasoning behind it, whatever, that's fine. But Vienna style lager has to be style, because we're not brewing it in Vienna. But what they're missing is the fact that it's not a Vienna lager because it's brewed in Vienna. It's a Vienna lager because it uses Vienna malt.
Gotcha. All right. See, that makes sense.
All right. So, but in any event, whatever. It's called Awkward Tan Lines, and there's the label for Awkward Tan Lines right there.
There you go.
Obviously, that's an awkward tan line for a woman to have on her back, a pint with a frothy head on it. So, but it's we brewed that beer with over 90% Weyermann Vienna malt and a little bit of Munich, and it's like an Oktoberfest light that you can drink all year, right?
There you go.
It's like a Marzen light, and it's nice, biscuity, bready, toffee, caramel, all the flavors. It's so good. It's so easy to drink.
Very nice.
Pardon me while I take one sip of my beer.
You can take more. I've been making you talk. So
no, it's fine.
What other beers you got coming up?
I'm just going to say we have our. We released this one in September, right before, during the Oktoberfest season. Even though it's not Oktoberfest, it's our Bavarian style Hefeweizen. It's called.
Oh, okay.
Right there. That's the label. We got a coat of arms on it. It's called Freising Tide. Okay.
Very nice.
Now what we did was
who does the beer naming?
Matt and I.
Okay.
Matt and I will sit down.
Because you're all
We'll
very clever. So I was wondering if you had one person doing it or.
no, the two of us, we sit down and we come up with it.
There you go.
Rising Tide was actually paying homage. Rising Tide, right? Coastal Rising Tide. Well, Freising Tide, so we changed it to Freising Tide. The brewery Weihenstephaner, German brewery Weihenstephaner. Weihenstephaner is located in Freising, Germany.
Mm.
So we're paying homage to Weihenstephaner.
There you
go.
I got that.
In my humble opinion, brews the best Hefeweizen in the world. I think that's my opinion. But
so are you going traditional with this one? The banana clove.
This is traditional banana clove. No other fruit. No, it's not American. It's a Bavarian hef. This big banana notes, clove, a little bit of pepper spice on the finish. It's as it should be. The coat of arms that we have on the label is actually the main big with the lions on it. That coat of arms is actually the coat of arms of Bavaria. The inner coat of arms, the inside on the coat itself, those two obviously waves are our logo right here, and the other two are actually the coat of arms of Freising, Germany. So
very nice.
That's where that one came from. And then we just released about a month ago our 6.5% coffee porter called called Nautical Twilight.
Right I do remember you having that one. Yeah. Wow. I'm jealous every time you show that one. I got to find a way to get that.
Right. We'll have to get you some. We brewed it with a local roastery right over here in town. We sat down with them. Matt and I sat down with them. We must have sampled about, probably 24 coffees. We walked out of there jittery, at the point. Right? But we came up with a nice blend that was proprietary to what we thought would pair well with our American porter recipe, and it came out so good. It's got a big, huge roasty nose, but it's so well balanced in the mouth and the flavor.
Very nice.
You still got the coffee in the roast, but it's balanced so nicely with the chocolate, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of nuttiness on the back end from the coffee. It's a really, really nice porter. So those are our 5 flagships. Nice. That's what we've released so far. During the year, this year, before we open, we plan on probably a handful of times throwing some one-offs out there, some small batches of, a quick hit, one and done. Maybe we'll throw a West Coast IPA out there. Maybe we'll throw an American wheat out there with a little fruit in it or something like that. Maybe, cut towards the summer or something like that. Just a quick hit, a handful of kegs to go to certain bars, maybe a festival or two, and then, a small hit of cases to get into the right stores. And that's it, done. And pre-sold everything, boom, out, done. just to get a little bit of other beers out there. Cause this industry, like anything else, is what have you done for me lately? You could brew.
It is, man. I don't have your experience, but I did sell beer for a brewery for a couple of years. And what I noticed, especially the brewery I was selling for, had a bad reputation, not because the beer was bad, just because of certain business practices, I guess.
Right.
So I had to walk into when I took over the sales route. I had to walk into every place I went to and apologize. I'm sorry, things were done that way. And I would bring samples. I'm just going to leave. I'm not even going to try to sell you anything. I'm going to leave you with a 6-pack of samples. You try them. I'll be back next week. And I'd keep coming back, and I'd keep coming back every week. And I swear to goodness, I got every one of them to buy from me eventually by not trying to sell them a damn thing. By just saying, hey, man. And I would walk in there. I would walk into every store, and I would just talk to them. I would talk about their hat, their sports team, whatever it was. I wouldn't even try to sell them a damn thing. Just have a conversation. And then I said, by the way, did you try it? How did you like it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What else can I bring in? And I would keep bringing them samples until they eventually bought something.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, Tom. Seriously, 90% of selling anything, especially beer, is building relationships.
Yeah.
And you don't build the relationships talking specifically about the beer you're selling them. You build relationships talking about the sports hat they're wearing, or the car they're driving, or the weather, or where they're going that weekend, or what they went to the last weekend, or I mean, you could keep it involved in the brewery speak, like what breweries you go to, where have you been. but it's
I mean,
about building relationships.
sometimes it's something stupid, right? It was about, I like wild shirts. Oh, I love that shirt, man.
Exactly.
It's anything you can relate to somebody with. It's whatever
Exactly.
it is. It
Right.
could be something small at that time that could become something big.
Exactly right. That's 100%. So I did say that I was going to talk about the sixth flagship we're going to do. The sixth flagship we're going to do is we don't have a name for it yet because we haven't brewed it and we aren't brewing it anytime soon. We're going to brew it when we open. That'll be our sixth flagship. It'll be a little something we do that we've only done in-house, so to speak, right? As a flagship. But there's a reason for it too, and it's a Belgian Pater's beer. All right, a Belgian
okay, wow.
Belgian Pater's beer, or an Abbey single, if there were such a thing, right? It's a Pater's beer, the lawnmower beer of the monks, Matt likes to say, right?
That's funny, yeah.
So, but as good as the beer is, it's not that it's going to be a hard sell. It'll sell, but it's certainly not going to sell as well as double IPAs and a New England IPA and so forth and so on. So, right now we're brewing 30-barrel batches, and to brew a 30-barrel batch right out of the gun. Right off the start of a Belgian Pater's beer, it'll take me 2 years to sell it, right? So it's got to be a step, right? So we'll brew a very small batch of it once we're operating out of the brewery, and then we can increase it from there. Eventually get it to 30 barrels or more, but we got to start with a smaller batch. So
there you go.
So that's that. So that's pretty much it. I mean, we've done a bunch of collabs. We did a double IPA. Double New England with Brick City out of Little Ferry, New Jersey. We just did last month. We did a New Zealand Pilsner collab with Icarus Brewing. We have probably about another, probably at this point, probably another 8 collabs scheduled for the next couple months too. So there's a lot of stuff coming out. So, name's getting out there, even out of state too. We're doing a few in New York as well. In New York.
Well, I mean, you alluded to it earlier. I mean, a lot of the game is just getting your name out there. So really the collabs make sense. People need to figure out who you are. So you're getting merchandise out there. You got hats, you got shirts, let people figure out who you are. So when your brewery does open, they're already ready for you. They're lining up to go in. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's really what it's all about. So that's where we're at right now. So, I mean, like I said, anybody listening, if you're interested, obviously anywhere in New Jersey right now you can get the beer. Unfortunately, you can't get anywhere else. You got to come to Jersey for the beer. We don't have distro out of state just yet. Soon, I can't say soon. One day. One day soon. And when I say one day soon, I don't mean next month. But I also mean not 10 years from now. One day soon, sooner than later.
There we go.
There you go.
Well, I'm going to pop beer number 2 here. I've got the Bon Bon Zari Night, again from Springfield Brewing Company. It is a 9% Imperial Stout, bourbon barrel aged, that also uses cocoa nibs and espresso. Let me show you that can here as I open beer number 2 here.
Very nice, very nice.
So what are you working? Are you still working on that first one? Are you ready to pop your second?
I'm ready to pop my second. I just finished that one.
So what are you drinking for beer number 2, sir?
Beer number 2, I am drinking a beer that was just canned this afternoon.
Oh, really? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Out in in New Jersey. I was at the brewery while they were canning it. In fact, actually gave them a hand a little bit while they were canning it. So, and if I do say so myself, I had one off the canning line too. So it was very tasty. This is not the first one of these I've had. I had one earlier, but no, it's New Jersey, in New Jersey, in Fort Monmouth, the old Fort Monmouth. They're redeveloping the old Fort Monmouth. In Monmouth County and Oceanport and Eatontown, part of it. They're making it a big entertainment complex, and only a few things have opened so far. And one of them was this brewery, and it's called Bird's Mouth Brewing. I'm sorry, Bird's Mouth Beer.
Bird's Mouth Beer. Okay,
Bird's Mouth Beer. Okay.
Black lager.
It's a black lager, yes.
So is that meant to be like a Schwarzbier?
Like a Schwarzbier,
or is it more of an American version of?
It's more of an Americanized version of a Schwarzbier. A little more roast than Kostritzer, for instance, but damn close to it. So it's really tasty. Like again, I had it. This will be the first one I drank out of a glass, by the way, because I had it off the canning line. When you drink a beer off the canning line, you drink it out of the can.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
But in any event, Yeah, no, Andy Joy is the owner, co-owner, along with his partner Rocco of Bird's Mouth Beer. Andy's got a nice history. He was just actually on the Logroom Guys podcast this past Tuesday. Andy was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah, you knew that. So he was on, and we talked about his beginnings in it, and he worked. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that'll know Kane Brewing. Andy for a time, actually a couple different stints, was the head brewer over at Kane. So he's got a decent resume over there, but he's doing all lagers. That's what he's doing. It's a lager only brewery, and they've put out a bunch of stuff so far. They put out. He's got a house lager. He's got a hoppy pilsner. He's got a dark lager, which is like a hybrid back lager and dunkel kind of thing. But it's pretty cool. But then he released. He had a Märzen, for those of you who want to say it perfectly.
I say Märzen. Yeah.
Märzen, yeah. I say Märzen too, but in any event, and then he released the black lager. He also did one of the beers so far. He did he called it a holiday double, holiday doppel, holiday lager. I forget what he called it. Holiday Bock. That's what he called it. It's a doppelbock, and the beer's amazing. I
love a doppel, man.
Yeah, it's actually I can't reach it. I actually have an empty bottle of it sitting over there that we had. It's a beautiful bottle that he put it in. He's canning everything else, but that one he put in bottles, and he still has it on tap. So it's amazing. But I'm gonna crack this.
One of our beer mutual friends, the Brew Guru, his favorite style is a doppelbock.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, John loves his doppel, and I was just talking with him the other day too about the glass he got. Not that it has anything to do with a doppel, but the Harpoon Winter Warmer glass that he scored.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty awesome. I told him, I said, I need that glass. Where did you get it?
So being a beer glass junkie kind of comes with the territory of being a craft beer junkie, does it not?
Absolutely.
I don't know that you can be one with every craft beer guy I know has an extensive glassware.
It's amazing how much glassware you can collect and not even, bat an eye about it. But, so I mean, this is a nice pint glass that I have here. So.
Oh, that is nice. Okay, I'm going to have to lobby you to send me one of those.
I might have to try that. I might have to try it. But this is wow. Yeah, having it open up and not drinking it out of the can, this is really nice. Oh, that's tasty.
So yeah, we're talking about the Märzen.
Kudos, Andy.
Talking about the Märzen, I say Märzen, and I joke that my ancestry is Irish and German, but I tend to take more after the Irish side because I've never had the inclination to invade Poland.
Well, that's true. There you go.
Of course, unless Poland wanted to be invaded.
This is true. Yeah, I'm actually both of those as well with Italian. I'm actually both of those as well with Italian. So
there you go.
I'm actually half Italian, and the other half is mostly German. I have a little bit of Scottish and a little bit of Irish.
Well, see, I joke that my ancestry is Irish and German, but I think there must be a Mexican in the woodpile because I'm a junkie for Mexican food, man. I mean, I can eat Mexican food every day, man.
I could as well. Food. I got to tell you, the town I live in too, Belmar, New Jersey. We have a number of really good Mexican restaurants in town, and
really,
yeah, I mean, it's a very. I grew up in a 1 square mile town. The town I live in now, Belmar, is smaller than the town I grew up in.
Right? Oh, are you kidding me?
It's smaller than the town I grew up in, but and that was up in Bergen County, but in New Jersey. But yeah, in this town we have 4 Mexican restaurants in this town.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. In a
town that small, really?
In a town this small, we have 4
That's
Mexican,
great.
four good Mexican restaurants.
So that was my question. How authentic is it? Is it really Mexican?
No, it's really Mexican.
Or is it gringo Mexican?
No, it's very Mexican. That's right. They're all authentic. All 4 of them are very authentic Mexican restaurants. They're really good.
So my thing is I grew up in Southern California, so they have a certain style of Mexican food out there.
Sure.
A lot of it is Baja influence. But then, back in the late 90s, I was transferred from here, Springfield, Missouri, to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and they've got a different view on Mexican food out there. And then I was transferred from there to El Paso, which is different. Even though it's only about 45 minutes apart, the style is a little bit different.
Sure.
So now everything I kind of make is sort of an amalgam of California, New Mexico, and Texas. But see, El Paso isn't Tex-Mex. El Paso is a different. It's sort of a country unto itself, right?
Yeah. No. Definitely. Yeah. Absolutely. El Paso is definitely that. In fact, I was going to say out western Texas like that in El Paso. You weren't too far away from one guest we've had on the show several times, Tony Drury.
Oh yeah. That show was brilliant. That dude is hilarious.
Tony's funny. Yeah, he's down in Terlingua in far west Texas.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's a funny guy. But as many times he's been on the show, you still, my friend, hold the record for appearances on the Locker Room Guys. So.
Yeah, I think that's why your cohort Samurai did the show with me yesterday. He said, "Oh, I owe Tom this one."
Yeah, absolutely.
So hey, I'm happy to be your Robert Blake, and I got Samurai to be the Robert Blake for my show anyway.
There you go.
So So talk about that beer you got there.
So yeah, it's roast. It's not. There's no watery aspect to this whatsoever. It's beefy. It's got a nice malt, big beefy malt backbone, but not to the point where it's, stout-esque, if you will.
Okay. I got you. Yeah.
It's definitely a nice, smooth, easy drinking lager with roast. It's really nice. It's really tasty.
Yeah, because a classic Schwartz beer should have a lot of flavor, but it shouldn't be heavy.
Right. Exactly. Full of flavor. All of the flavor, none of the weight.
I'll tell you something funny. I went through a couple months. I think it was like August, September. I kind of quit drinking beer for a little bit because I was trying to save some money.
Sure.
But
that helps big time.
But the side effect of that was actually lost weight because I wasn't drinking beer.
Yeah, you know what? That is true. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I do exercise, probably not as much as I should, but I do. Right, between running, walking more than running, but I do run a little bit at the gym, but not too much. Probably spend more than I probably shouldn't spend as much on the gym as I do not going as often as I should. Right.
Yeah.
But in any event, but I kind of maintain, right? As much beer as I drink, I kind of maintain. So I often wondered to myself that same thing. I'm like, if I just stop drinking for drinking beer, it's not that it's not like I drink 12 beers a day, right? But I drink my share, and I'm in the business. So, you go to an event, you're going to drink several beers. I drink 2 or 3 beers every Tuesday night on the podcast. I'm going to drink 2 or 3 with you tonight. And, I had 1 or 2 earlier, and, so forth. But in any event, I've been wondering to myself, if I just stopped drinking, but kept my eating and my exercise regimen, how much weight would I lose?
Well, yeah,
I'm maintaining doing all of that, right? It's got to drop.
I didn't quit drinking beer. I just quit buying as much. So I would have 1 or 2 here and there, but I was drinking more wine. And I didn't know what the caloric differences between wine and beer was, but I lost about 10 pounds in that 2-month period.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's calories in wine, but nowhere near the amount of calories in beer. Now, and that's another thing too. I mean, if you're drinking lighter, some lighter beers, and I don't mean like Miller Lite or Mick Ultra or anything, like just lighter craft beers. Obviously, you're not gonna take in as many calories as drinking, bourbon barrel aged stouts every day.
That's kind of my problem is, especially this time of year, if I'm drinking beer, this is what I'm drinking.
Sure.
And these suckers have a lot of calories in them. There's like a meal in a can, right?
Absolutely. It's definitely a big meal.
We got like 500 calories happening here.
You got a meal and dessert in that can. That's it. I'm gonna drink some dinner. I mean, yeah.
That's right. I mean, there's a lot in a barrel aged stout.
Right. That's crazy. But this is really tasty and going down pretty damn quick, pretty smooth. I'm enjoying this very much. So I'm probably gonna open that. I'm probably gonna open that other beer. So, which
all right.
oddly enough, it's when I open it, I'll tell you what the name of it is. So you'll appreciate the name.
Because we're gonna have you and I are gonna have one cocktail this
We'll
week.
have a cocktail when we're done with that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
exactly. So I'll finish this probably quickly, and then I'll open another beer.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the cocktail and how it came about. About a year ago, a liquor store in our town had this on clearance. So I picked it up, and I knew nothing about it other than the distillery. I love the distillery, but I knew nothing about Amaro. So I bought it, and one of the first things I did was talk to Mr. Johnny about it here, and he knew something about it because I didn't know anything about Amaro. So we had a conversation about a year ago about this, and I still have this much left. I have this bottle over a year, and I've got this much left. But anyway, so Amaro is basically an herbal liqueur, and this particular Amaro adds coffee to it.
That's right. They add coffee to the.
Yeah, this is a cafe Amaro. So
right.
So my particular cocktail I'll talk about a little later is kind of a riff on another cocktail, which is a riff on another cocktail. So I'm kind of expounding on a theme, if you will.
Well, we talked about that replacing the vermouth in a Manhattan.
Yes,
with Amaro, and I did that on a show with you, and it was fantastic.
Yep.
It was
really good. Yeah.
So, I gotta get you some of the one I'm gonna have tonight. I'm gonna see if I can somehow get it out there. It's from Boston. We'll talk about that when we get to it, though. But
all right,
it's really good.
So, what's your next beer there?
So the beer I'm gonna have. I'm gonna take the last sip of this beer. It was so good. Once again, Bird's Mouth beer. And just. I'll say two things really quick on this, not this brewery, but lagers in general, right? Lagers, for them to be doing lagers only a couple of years ago would have been like, what are you, nuts? You're only going to do lagers? That's it? Lagers, and I'm assuming it's the same way, because I know what it is in New Jersey and New York, and anyway, the Northeast. I'm assuming it's the same way out in Missouri by you, but lagers have definitely taken a big foothold, more so than they have like in such a long time or forever in the craft beer industry. I should say.
Well, since the beginning, anyway.
Since the beginning of it, right? Yeah. So kudos to them for doing that. I mean, we're certainly gonna, Coastal. We're certainly gonna make lagers, right? We're not gonna make, we'll make, we'll do some small batch lagers. Maybe we'll do 2 or 3 small batch lagers a year. Maybe 4, something like that, and then we have our Vienna lager, our Vienna lager that Awkward Tan Lines. That's our flagship. Obviously, we'll always have that, but nothing like these guys are doing. And and when I and I'm talking also about doing if any box we're going to do, any doppel box or dunkels or anything like that we're going to do. But yeah, for them to undertake that's to take that route.
Big, yeah.
It's really big, and kudos to them. And the other thing I was going to say is I saw a funny video today. I think breweries in Pennsylvania Instagram account put it up.
Okay,
right. And now I'll set up like this. Do you remember Mario Kart? Right, remember Mario Kart?
Yeah,
the video? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you remember the one screen or the one section of it where Mario's running and he's got all of these big I-beams just swinging around, and if they hit Mario, they kill him, right?
Yeah.
So he's got to dodge them, jump over them. So it's a really crazy screen, right? It's really hard, right? So they have that whole thing play out all the way to the end, and he finally gets there. And underneath the caption is brewers trying to get past all the hazy IPA releases to get to the one lager release that week.
Oh no, that's funny. That's funny. Because that makes sense too.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to post a comment here from a friend, Gabriel. Hi, Tom. Good to see you. Good to see you too, man. I'm glad you're watching this particular show because Jersey Johnny, well, I mean, he's just a guy that knows what he's doing. Coastal Brew Works right now is only in Jersey, but at some point they're going to be out there, man. So keep a lookout.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it for the plug. All right. So here's the other beer I'm going to open. So here we go. Just taking it out of that. All right. It's a spiced old fashioned inspired barrel aged ale.
There you go.
All
So
right.
what's the ABV on that? Because you expect it to be big.
The ABV on this is 10%.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry.
pretty big. Yeah.
It's 10.7%.
Oh, that's a good size.
Bigger.
Yeah.
And it's from Bolero. Bolero
right.
Snort. And I'll hold the can up. There's a watermark of an old fashioned behind it with a spiral of an orange peel coming off of the end of the glass, which you probably won't even see on the camera. But take a look at the name of the beer.
Jersey's Finest.
Jersey's Finest. So, I mean, I had to drink the beer, right? It's Jersey's Finest.
So I got to ask you this question because I've had a couple friends post this lately from your neck of the woods, and the meme basically just says anybody from New Jersey has never pronounced it Joyzy.
No,
never ever. So
never,
how did that start?
How did that start? It started with Joe Piscopo on Saturday Night Live. I mean, it probably started with some other comedian. Maybe it was even Joe Piscopo on stage somewhere making fun or poking fun at, you're from Jersey, what exit? That kind of a thing. Right.
So how did it become Joyzy? And why do we think that is commonplace?
Joyzy, if I don't know if you think back, if you remember back to, I guess it was 82, 83 on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
When I guess it was probably before. I guess it was before Billy Crystal was a cast member for that one year that he was a cast member. But Joe Piscopo was on as a regular cast member, and
in the early 80s.
And it was during the Eddie Murphy period, with Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on. Anyway, there were security guards. I think it was the skit where there were security guards. But anyway, Joe Piscopo's shtick was, "I'm from Joyzy. You from Joyzy?" That's to the best of my recollection, or as far as I know, that's where that came from. Because not that I was
that actually says that.
I don't know anyone that says that. That's literally shtick. That's literally a joke. So it's literally poking fun at the state.
Yeah.
And have I heard people say it? Yeah, but I've heard comedians say it. I've never heard
but not anybody actually from New Jersey.
Nobody ever from the state pronounces it Joyzy. I promise you, no one from New Jersey pronounces it Joyzy.
That's funny.
Unless they were originally from Alabama, and I don't mean it in a derogatory term, just because their southern drawl may have come out Joyzy. Kind of a thing. Okay. Other than that, that's about it. So I'm going to take a quick pic of this.
There you go.
For my obligatory
I got you.
Untapped check-in later. And this definitely looks beefy. Let's put it that way.
It does. Oh, that's got a beautiful color.
Yeah. Oh, definitely getting cherry.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting cherry orange. I'm getting cherry orange and barrel and a little booze in the nose.
So you should pick up some booze, but does it taste boozy, or does it all come together as it should?
You know what? It does all come together. There's definitely booze in there, but it's not overwhelming.
So does it represent an old fashioned as a beer?
You know what? I'll say it like this. The only beer, I've had several that were, attempts at a representation of an old fashioned. All right. And I'd like to work on one as well at some point when we open. But the only one I've had, this is pretty damn good. This is pretty damn good. The only one I will tell you, the only one I've had, and it's completely different, direction than this. The only one I've had that, to the best of my recollection, because I haven't had it in a few years, but I've had it several times, that is probably a little bit closer to a representation of this, it was a cask ale, all right? And it was cask conditioned, I should say. And it was It was originally a triple IPA, but not a triple IPA as we know it now today, right? A triple IPA as we know it now today is just ridiculously overhopped New England IPA. That's a triple IPA, right? Okay. A triple IPA, 10, 15 years ago, triple IPA. Triple IPA 10 years ago was an American barley wine, right?
Well, when I think about a triple IPA that long ago, I think about the Founders Devil Dancer.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Perfect example of it. Yes, exactly.
Big and malty is all. For all intents and purposes, it was a barley wine, but it's called a triple IPA. Yes,
exactly, like a very, very, very fine line between triple IPA and American barley wine, right? Certainly wasn't an English barley wine because it didn't have the. It wasn't malt forward. It wasn't all the the dried fruit or anything like that. It was an American barley wine, but
yes, absolutely.
But it was that life. So it was that beer, cask conditioned on Luxardo cherries, orange peel, and bitters.
Oh wow, that's brilliant! Yeah,
that to me. That was I think that hit the nail on the head of being an old-fashioned inspired beer.
There you go.
But this is pretty damn good. It's definitely, I don't know whether I can't speak to what style it is. I can't speak to whether it's a brown ale, and they it's certainly not a stout by any means. It's because it's dark, but it's brown, right? Or whether it's an amber ale that whatever booze it got out of the barrel and whatever the cherries and everything else maybe got it darker. I don't really know. I'm not sure. Yeah. I could find out, but I can't find out right now. So, but in any event, this is pretty tasty. It's
very nice. Well, by the looks of it, it doesn't even seem like it's that viscous.
You know what? It looks like it's more viscous than it is.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it
doesn't appear very viscous.
Yeah, no, I mean from here, like in the camera, like if I come up a little closer, maybe you'll see it. It looks a little more. It looks like it's a little more chewy than it is. How's that?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. But it's definitely got the it's definitely capturing the cherry. I'm definitely getting the orange in there. I'm definitely getting the it's got a little bit. It's missing a little more bitter would be nice, and not bitter from hops, but bitter from Angus bitter.
Yeah.
Bitters. But they're there. They're not missing.
Yeah.
They're there. They're just. I could use, but that's me though. If a bartender's going to make me an old fashioned, he's going to put 2 dashes of bitters. I want 4 dashes of bitters. He's going to put 3. I want 6. Whatever you put in, double it. That's what I want.
That's why I say 2020 ruined me forever because now I'm my own best bartender. Right.
Right. Well, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
That bartender. No. You're gonna put 3 ounces. You're not gonna put 2. You're going to put 4 dashes. You're not going to put 2.
Right.
I want to shake that bitter bottle. Yeah.
Right.
And I owe it to you for finding this.
Yeah. Those are so good, aren't they?
Oh my God, they're brilliant, man. But you have a call for 2 dashes. No, I'm not counting 2. I'm doing this.
I use my black walnut bitter. I go through them. I go through them more than twice as fast as I should because I'm just like
brilliant.
2 dashes.
The flavor, the aromatics is just brilliant, man. Yes, that's what I do.
All right, that's good.
They call for 2 dashes. No, I'm doing 5 or 6.
Yeah, maybe I'm stopping at 8.
Yeah. I'm just okay. Yeah. I'm not counting. I'm just doing this.
That's one of my favorite ones to make. I mean, a little, just like a teaspoon of real Vermont maple syrup.
Yeah.
My bourbon, 7 or 8 dashes of the black walnut bitters, and 1 Luxardo cherry, and I'm just let me sit here and relax. That's it. That's my drink. I'm loving that. And oddly enough, when I get to the Amaro, the first place I ever had the maple black walnut bitter old fashioned was at this distillery that I got the Amaro from.
Wow. All right.
Years ago, but yeah, that's the first place I ever had it. They're the ones that I got you buying the black walnut bitters. They got me buying the black walnut bitters.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. So.
But it took me forever to find these because they were out of them for the longest time. As soon as I found them, and after I found them, I was putting them in everything. I was using that, that maple old fashioned recipe, but I was putting them in Manhattans. I'm using this.
Oh yeah, no, I've used them in Manhattans before. I've used them in a lot of other cocktails.
Yeah, I drop them in everything now.
Yeah.
They're absolutely gorgeous, man.
Mm-hmm. The
the flavors are nice, but it's the aromatics, right?
Yeah,
It just brings everything together.
You can have something that tastes delicious if there's not an equal amount of amazing aromatics happening in your nose as you're bringing that glass up to your mouth. You're missing half of the experience.
And see, that's exactly right. Yeah, but the thing is, with black walnut, I mean, not everybody gets it, right? I mean, they're very pungent.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not a flavor or aroma for everybody, but if you get it, you get it, right?
Right. Exactly. It's amazing. It really is. But yeah, I love that stuff. And I'm running low too, so I got to reorder. They're which ones have you gotten?
Fee Brothers.
Fee Brothers. Yeah, you can actually get them on Amazon now.
Oh, can you really?
Yeah, you can order them on Amazon. You got to order. I think you got to order 2 bottles at a time, but that doesn't matter to me. That's fine with me.
No, I'd be okay with it. These things are brilliant, man.
Right. Yeah,
I can almost mainline these things.
Last time I got them, the store, and granted, I have access to many liquor stores, as you would imagine, right? But in any event, the one main one that I usually buy them from. Exactly. The one main one that I usually buy them from was out of them. So I actually just, shits and giggles, pardon my French, went online and I
we don't have a sensor here.
went on just to see if there was something in the area that I can go get. This is like a while ago. And and it popped up Amazon. I'm like, you kidding me? I get Fee Brothers Black Walnut Bitters on Amazon. Went to it. Sure enough, I just sat there in the car. Bing, bang, boom. Ordered them. Done. So yeah, you can get Fee Brothers Black Walnut Bitters right on Amazon.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
So Amazon, you know what? I mean, I'm a big brick and mortar guy. I really am. But Amazon is really convenient. It really is.
It is, yeah. What's the thing, going at it from a different angle is as a music guy as well. I mean, I love buying CDs. I want things in my hand, but I love listening to my Spotify because I can listen to things that commercial radio isn't going to let me listen to.
Mm-hmm. I still, to this day, any of my favorite bands, any of my, whatever the style, whatever the genre, whatever, they come out with a new CD or whatever, I'm still going and buying the CD. But I subscribe to Apple Music and I subscribe to Spotify and I subscribe to, and I have my Amazon Music account that comes with Prime, right? So I have many ways to listen to the same songs, but I'm still buying that CD.
So the thing is, I don't need this CD to listen to it because I've got it on Spotify, but I'm still going to buy that CD because I'm supporting that artist.
Mm-hmm. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. Right here in my office, and that's just like a fraction, obviously. But still buying them.
Well, because from Facebook, talk about Facebook. A lot of artists that will put on there. If you pre-order it, they'll sign it and send it to you. So I will do that just so I have that copy. But I've still got them on Spotify, right?
Right, exactly.
And I'm in many cases I've never even listened to that CD, but I bought it because it supports the artist.
Right, exactly. No, I get you. No, it's you know what? I mean, here's the thing though. I mean, years ago, we'll get into a little music here because in another life, if you will, I was a musician actually trying to make it in the music industry.
Really? What'd you play?
I played keyboards and I played guitar.
Oh yeah, I was a keyboard player way back when in the 80s. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was a keyboard player in the 80s too. And
see, my problem is I didn't have any talent. I had a pretty good work ethic because
to be quite honest with you,
I would practice 5-6 hours a day. I just had no talent. But I was able to get so far, but at some point I realized, no, Tom, you're just not going to get there.
To be quite honest with you, there were a number of bands in the 80s that did release CDs. They released CDs, yeah, sure, but albums, right? That a lot of the members of the band really didn't have any talent.
Yeah, there was a few. Yeah.
But
so for a minute there, I thought I had a chance, but
yeah. But whatchamacallit? But where were we going with that? Or was I saying music was? Oh yeah, but as far as that goes, 20 years ago ish, maybe more. Back actually probably 24 years, 25, somewhere in there. When what was it? What was it? Napster was the big download.
Oh God, yeah.
Right back in the day. That was illegal, right? That was, and immoral, really, too. When you if you're a musician or if you're just a lover of music at that point, right? For you to want to download for free on a site where the musician and the bands and no one is getting any royalties or anything from it, that's just wrong. I mean, that's their baby. That's their that would be like I mean, for what we're talking about here, that would be like, always getting beer for free, never buying it. So what? Breweries are going to go out of business. It's the same thing. The music.
I don't think it's the same thing. I really don't.
Well, no. Well, here, I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay, all right. I'm listening.
Back then with Napster, okay, because here I would buy the CD, right? Okay, so I buy the CD. So I'd spent the money on the CD, right? But then I went on my computer and I ripped all the songs off the CD and I had them on my computer and I made MP3s or whatever I made out of them, right? And then I put them up on Napster. And then you and 100,000 other people downloaded my upload. All right. So now the artist got one amount, got a check for one CD bought, and 100,000 people got that music. That's my point. Okay. Now, on the other hand, today, all right, I subscribe to Apple Music. I subscribe to Spotify. So they get my $10 a month. Maybe it's up to $11 or $12 a month now for Apple Music and whatever Spotify is. I mean, I don't even check. They just take the money out of my account every month, right? But and then Amazon or whatever. So now Amazon and Apple and Spotify and Pandora and all of those, they'll send money to the artists based on play of their songs. So they're still making their money. Maybe they're not making the money they made from CD sales, but they're still making the money from publishing, from these things. So they're still getting money from it. So what my point is today, with technology, what it is today, is actually better than it was 20 years ago. Maybe not as good as it was 40 years, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, but it's better than it was 20 years ago with
Of course, technology is better, but my disagreement with your argument is that, so here's the thing. Yeah, Napster was out there when it was letting people pick up some tunes for free without paying for it. However, I think that you're missing is that you were able to listen to artists that maybe you've never heard of. So now you're downloading this stuff for free, but you're going to go out and buy albums from them because now you've learned about this artist.
Fine.
But I think that's the point you kind of missed.
I'll concur with you on that one. And I'll tell you why. Because I was that guy.
Yeah.
I was that guy. I downloaded, first of all, anything. I either downloaded albums that I already had on CD or album or tape or whatever at the time, right? And I downloaded them. So I've already spent my money on it. And I could have very easily, done it myself. I could have very easily put it in my computer, but why bother? I'm sitting at work. I'll tell you right now, I worked at WINS. I worked in radio. I worked at WINS and I worked.
You got that radio kind of voice, man.
There you go. Imagine that, right? And
I was always told that I had a face for radio.
Face for radio, right? And Dave says the same thing about himself too. Welcome out to the locker room, guys. Now, anyway, but I did the same thing. And literally the vast majority of anything that I did download, all right, that I sat and downloaded, whether it was at work or wherever it was, the majority of the stuff that I did download was stuff that I already owned. All right, so I could have very easily taken the CD and ripped it myself and put it on my computer, but why bother? I have the time here. Boom, I have I have the the external drive to put them on, and easy peasy, right? So, but I did do the same thing you're talking about. I did go in. Okay, here's a new artist. I've never heard them before, but I've heard people talking about them. Let me go on and see. So I downloaded a couple of songs, And I did like them, and I went out and bought their albums. I went out and bought their CDs. I went out. So yeah, I'll concur with you on that. So people like, all right, people like us, right? That's fine. I'm talking about the ones that just, and there were plenty of them that just went and downloaded everything. They didn't care. I want this. I want this. I want this. I want this. I want this, and never spent a dime on any
That's
music.
The problem. Is it's always the few that ruin it for the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that small minority that fucks shit up for the rest of us that are trying to do stuff the right way.
Exactly. You're right.
We want a couple things for free, but we're going to buy other stuff.
Right. And that happens all the time. All the time that happens. Amazing.
So are you finishing up that beer? We ready to get to our cocktail?
I just finished it.
So let's talk about cocktails. I'm going to let you start first.
All right. Well, my cocktail is just going to be the hold on, I gotta get rid of some. Oh, that's cool. I love that. I'll tell you this. This is amazing. This bottle right here, right? This water bottle, if you will, or whatever you want to call it. It's amazing in the fact that it keeps things so cold.
Oh.
I can put cold water with ice cubes in this, fill it up in the middle of summer, close it completely, leave it in my car overnight, and half the day the next day when it's 90 something degrees out, and I will get in my car and pick it up, and I can still shake ice cubes in it. So this thing, it's an amazing thing. And imagine the stickers that I have all over it too. So there you go. There.
Very nice.
But anyway, so I'm up in my office. My fridge is downstairs. I had to bring everything up here with me. I have a cooler, obviously, for my beer that I brought up. But my Amaro is not a cooler, of course. But I like to drink it with ice cubes. So I had to figure out a way to keep ice cubes cold, so I could put ice cubes in my glass an hour after
No,
I just okay. They'd be water right now if I just put them right in my glass. So anyway, but there we go. So here's where is it? Where's my Amaro? Where did my Amaro go? Hello, there it is. Okay. So here it is. This is from Bully Boy Distillers.
Oh, right nice. There. Okay.
Amaro Rhubarbo. There's extra rhubarb in this. There's
rhubarb. Oh, wow.
Extra rhubarb. So yeah, there's it's much bigger. I mean, I'll tell you about it while I'm drinking it. But they came out with this. They've won several gold medals at the San Francisco Spirits. I forget what they call it out there, but the San Francisco Spirits Awards that they do out there. I forget the name of the actual competition, but this is amazing. Just it's so good, Tom. I can't even explain it to you. It's so good. I'm going to pour myself a nice little bit of it. There we go.
So you're not measuring there. You're just pouring.
Oh, I'm just pouring, not measuring anything. Because I'm not making a cocktail. I'm just drinking the Amaro. That's it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were making a cocktail. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. No, that's it. But there you go. That's it. Right. That's it right there. So it's obviously a little bit darker than regular Amaro.
There you go. Yeah.
It's got.
Well, so is this one here, the cafe? Yeah, it's a little bit darker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's got the coffee in it. Yeah, but it's got rhubarb root, black cardamom, majoram, chamomile, clove, yarrow root is in this. But they definitely do there's a lot of botanicals in this, but a little bit extra rhubarb goes in this, and a little bit more bitter orange, which makes this the rhubarb version of it. So, the nose in this is just. I'm going to sit here and smell this while you talk about your cocktail. There you go.
I'll do that because it is very aromatic. That's what it is, right?
So good.
About the aromatics.
Well, you know what? You're definitely getting the rhubarb. You're definitely getting the bitter orange mixed together, though. But you're getting that cardamom, the chamomile, and everything in there as well. The botanicals are just hitting your nose, and you're like, oh, that's so nice. It's so good.
I thought you were going to do a cocktail, so I put a cocktail together.
No, go for it. Have at it.
So here's my thing is, I was looking up Amaro cocktails because I'm not familiar with Amaro. I've had this for about a year, but I'm not familiar with what you use it for. So I was looking up different cocktails, and I found one I like called a Busted Pipe. The Busted Pipe called for equal parts of bourbon, and Amaro, and then just a cherry and a lemon twist. Well, that's simple enough.
Sure.
And I like that. In all honesty, I really like the simplicity of the drink. However, so the Busted Pipe was actually a riff from another cocktail called the Paper Plane, which was a riff from an old fashioned Anna Manhattan. So everything is So anyway, here's what I did here. I've taken bourbon out of it, and I added a wheated whiskey. So I've got 100 proof wheated whiskey. So I've got this wheated whiskey combined with the Cafe Amaro, and then a bourbon cherry and a lemon twist.
Very nice.
And here's what I got.
That is beautiful. That's very pretty. Mm.
And damn, it's tasty too.
Oh, that's that's one of my favorite lines from a very good show back in the 50s. It's tasty too.
It's tasty too. Yeah.
Vitamin Vegemin.
So what's the dirtiest thing ever said on TV? Ward, what's your little hard on the beaver last night? Anyways, I thought you were setting me up there. So
so good. I love it. I love it. Ward, weren't you hard on the beaver last night?
Yeah, weren't you a little hard on the beaver? Anyways, I digress.
You digress. It's about time you said that. I mean,
I had to get it in, man. I had to get it in. I was holding it back.
Well, I'll tell you. Obviously, besides the Locker Room Guys podcast on Tuesday nights, every Wednesday night I do a sports podcast.
Yeah, okay, the Locker Room Guys, right?
It's the yeah, right. Well, that was originally that. So we actually changed it to the Get On With It sports podcast.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize
because there's three of us on there. There's one. It's myself, my buddy Bernie, or he lives out in Denver. We went to high school together, and we've known each other since we were kids. And then my buddy Pete, who I actually worked with at WEVD 1050 AM back in the day. We actually had a radio show, a sports radio show, on it as well back then, called Spaghetti and the Meatball.
That's a great name.
Spaghetti and the Meatball. Spaghetti and the Meatball. He was Pete Spaghetti Minetti, and I took the brunt. I was like John the Meatball later, right? So I was the Meatball, but Spaghetti and the Meatball, the tastiest sports talk in town. So there you go, right? So so the three of us got together right around the same time we started the beer podcast. We started the sports podcast. But anyway, the reason we get on with it is because all of us at one point or another, not all the time, but at one point or another, we'll get on a soapbox and we'll just start talking and talking. All right, get on with it. Get on with it. Get on with it. So that's why we're the Get On With It podcast. But my point being is we do two shows. We do 1 week we do a topical show that's about current events, the games from the past weekend, football wise, or baseball, obviously during the baseball season, hockey and basketball, anything that's topical, and we throw a couple other things in there, a lot of news, a lot of current events and stuff like that in the sports. And then the second week we do what we call the fun show. All right, the fun show is a bunch of quizzes. All right, and it's a bunch of stuff that I'll actually put out there, and I'll ask Pete and Bernie. Bernie, by the way, his name on the show is Harry Lugnuts. All right, all right, and he's Harry Lugnuts only because he is in a band called Log, L-O-G, Log, out in Denver, and they play often. They're known around the local music scene, and he plays bass and sings. In fact, the music for the intro to the Locker Room Guys, as well as the music, it's a different song for the music for the intro of the Get On With It sports podcast, is Log, and it's Harry singing. It's Bernie singing. So when you hear the when you're on the show and you listen to the Locker Room Guys intro, it's actually Log. It's actually Bernie singing. So
there you go.
Anyway, so we do the fun show the second week, and it's all questions, different quizzes and stuff like that. We do that, and we always do a top 10 list. And we kind of got a little Over the last 2.5 years, we've done so many football top 10 lists. Over the last couple of months, we're like so wired from just doing so many football top 10 lists, and it's hard to. And we've figured out some other stuff, but we decided we were going to get into doing, because it's the fun show. We decided we're going to get into doing top 10. We decided we're going to get into doing top 10 sitcoms of different decades.
All right. Oh,
so we
I
did
can do that, yeah.
we did 80s, we did 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. This just the other day on the podcast this week, we did top 10 sitcoms of the 60s. All right.
Oh.
So I'll if you're interested, I will read you, and I won't sit and go over it for hours, but I'll just read you the list that we had for top 10.
Go ahead. Go for it.
All right. So top 10 sitcoms of the 60s. We had 2 extra ones that are above 10, so we just included them, right? So we had 2 tied for 11. What we do is I vote 1 through 10, Pete votes, Bernie votes, and then whatever we say is number 1 gets 10 points. Whatever we say is number 10 gets 1 point, and all the difference in between. And then we add them together and figure out that's how we come up with the list, right? So, tied for number 11 was F Troop.
I loved F Troop.
F Troop was great.
Ken Berry, Forrest Tucker.
Absolutely. Eat these balloon. Right? And also Car 54, Where Are You?
Ed Gwynn.
Mm-hmm. And whatchamacallit? Al Lewis was in that as well. Mm-hmm. Tootie and Muldoon. Fred Gwynn was Francis Tootie. It was Francis Muldoon. It was Francis
Muldoon.
Muldoon.
That one at all. Yeah, that one I don't remember. Yeah.
But anyway, number 10 was Lost in Space.
Oh yeah, Lost in Space. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I didn't vote for because I wasn't taking that as a sitcom, but Bernie was like,
no.
Bernie was like, it's size 5, but he said it was so sticky.
It was sticky. So
he considered it
sitcom. It wasn't meant to be a sitcom,
right? It was an unintentional sitcom, right? That's where he went with that, right?
I'm following that. All right.
Number 9 was Addams Family.
Okay.
Number 8 was The Lucy Show.
Oh God, please.
Not I Love Lucy, but Lucy Show.
Yeah, no.
And it only made
that show was terrible. It was terrible.
I know. I actually agree with you, but that was, and I will call him out on it. That was Pete. He for whatever reason, he loved the show and he put it as his number 4. He was the only one that voted for it, and that's why it became number 8.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, it would have dropped off, right? Number 7, I Dream of Jeannie.
Okay, yeah.
Tied for number 6 was The Munsters.
Mm-hmm.
Another one with Fred Gwynn and Al Lewis.
Yeah.
And Gilligan's Island.
Okay.
All right. Number 5, Batman.
Again, not a sitcom.
Right, an unintentional sitcom.
Yeah.
Because it was, again, so sticky. It's just, you couldn't help but
gotcha.
Fit into that mold, right? Number 4, Bewitched.
Okay.
Number 3, The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Number 2, Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, I love that show. One of my favorites.
Great show. I Know Nothing. I See Nothing. Right. Sergeant Schultz. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1, Get Schmuck.
Oh, see, so the one show I'm surprised that didn't make that list was Petticoat Junction.
I did talk about that. What we did was there was a couple of shows that didn't make the list that we actually brought up just to give them some airtime, if you will, right? Petticoat Junction was one of them.
Oh, I love Petticoat Junction.
Yeah, it was a great show.
I mean, I was like 4 years old, but I love those chicks.
All right. Oh, yeah.
I knew what I liked right away.
So Gilligan's Island, let me ask you. Gilligan's Island. Ginger or Marianne?
Oh, Marianne.
Right, thank you.
Marianne had that girl next door kind of thing going on. Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't turn down Ginger. Don't get me wrong.
I wouldn't kick Ginger out of bed. Certainly not.
Not for crackers, no. But yeah.
But and the other one I'll ask you, not the same show, but same idea. Both on that list. Samantha or Jeannie?
Jeannie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Barbara Eden, man, she did something for me, man.
Oh
I
yeah.
was 4 years old and I knew what I was looking at.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And Get Smart though. I mean, Get Smart. I mean, that's Mel Brooks.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well,
Mel Brooks with Buck Henry. Buck Henry was
Buck
involved in it
Henry.
too. Yeah.
So Buck Henry was kind of like a misunderstood genius.
He really
right?
was. He really was. Yeah.
He was like that sidekick that made everybody else better.
Yep. Exactly.
He might have been a genius by himself, but he elevated everybody else.
He elevated everybody else. Yep. He couldn't. And there were some sketches whenever he was on SNL in the early days, obviously, right? Whenever he was on SNL, Buck Henry, oh yeah, it was amazing. Any of the skits Buck Henry was in were winners. Always.
It was brilliant, yeah.
Brilliant.
Because he made everybody else, because he knew what his role was, right? Mm-hmm. His role wasn't to be the star. His role was to make the star look better.
Yep. Exactly. And he did. And it always worked. And it was brilliant. Every
time.
Mm-hmm. So.
So talk to me about your Amaro there before we wrap this up.
Yeah, absolutely. This Amaro is amazing. I got to be honest with you. Every single time I go up to Boston, I have several. I go to Billy Boy. They're in South Boston. They're in the Dorchester section of Boston, Southeast Boston, off Massachusetts Ave. Not far off Massachusetts Ave. Not too far away from Dorchester Brewing, either. Which is putting out some decent beer up there as well. There's a lot of good spirits. I mean, obviously in Massachusetts and specifically Boston proper, anyway, the immediate area around Boston, there's a lot of good beer, but there's a lot of good spirits right around Boston too. Between Bully Boy, there's also Grand 10. There's a couple of the distilleries that have just opened up that I haven't gotten to yet. But up in Everett by Night Shift, which is one of my favorite breweries, personally, is not around the corner is Short Path, and they're making amazing gins and everything else. But anyway, Bully Boy, they're making amazing cocktails and everything they make. They actually, and I've had it on the show with you on the show actually. They make an old fashioned, but they bottle it. So they take their bourbon and they re-barrel their bourbon in fresh oak barrels with Luxardo cherries, bitters, and orange peel, nice. And then they bottle that. So it's really, really tasty. And I've had that. In fact, I actually have a bottle of it over there. I spare no expense whenever I go to Bully Boy. It's crazy. But I always get a bottle of this Amaro. They make a single Amaro, a regular Amaro, which is amazing. It's very tasty too. I have a bottle somewhere. I guess downstairs right now. But the Rhubarb Amaro, I always, anytime, even if I've only cracked my most recent bottle of Rhubarb Amaro from them, I still get another bottle when I'm up there. Always. It's just ridiculous. I got to get you some of this. You have to try this. You have to try this. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me tonight at the pub with Jersey Johnny. I am Tom the Beer and Whiskey Whisperer for the purposes of this video. Prolific beer and whiskey drinker. And say it with me, Johnny.
All around good guy.
Thank you, man. Thanks for joining me, man. We're going to end this broadcast or we're going to talk for 3 hours.
There you go.